Year 738. King Vegeta, in the last 7 months the strange incidents have been progressively decreasing, and specifically this last month the cases have practically disappeared. There have been no reports of missing objects, infiltrations in our system or cases of hypnotized people or memory problems. This can only indicate two things. That person has ceased his activities or... But before he could finish his sentence, King Vegeta finished it. That person has become increasingly implacable and effective, so much so that we aren't able to realize that he is still there. I'm right, Paragus? King Vegeta asked Paragus, whom was the one giving him the report. You are right, Majesty, Paragus replied. King Vegeta on his throne began to meditate about the situation that Paragus was commenting. When? PFFF. There was a strange noise coming from the seat of King Vegeta, a very ordinary sound. All the scions present in the throne room froze at the sound of that noise. Again, someone was about to laugh, but he held back. He knew what would happen if he dared to laugh. King Vegeta, with a vein stuck in his head, made it clear that nothing had happened and continued with the meeting. By the way, Paragus, what happened to you? I don't see you in very good condition, asked King Vegeta, who could see how Paragus had a very pronounced dark circles and a tired face. Paragus looked at King Vegeta and replied, It's nothing, King Vegeta. For various reasons I'm not sleeping well and I've had certain difficulties. What kind of difficulties? Be sincere, said King Vegeta, quite interested. I would not know how to explain, Majesty. The things I left in one place when I turned were in a different one. When I walk calmly on the street, I feel as if something were throwing me to the ground. Some reports that I have to deliver disappear the day I have to deliver it. I always find pointy objects between the clothes or objects that I'm going to sit on. When I sleep my sheets and mattress move, or they get soaked or I wake up with my face painted. However, there is never anyone doing any of that, and the cameras are unable to capture anything too. I didn't want to believe it at first, but I'm beginning to think that the urban legend of the ghost may be true, Paragus said, writing up all the unusual and irritable events that had happened to him in recent months. Have you also had hair removed from your head, beard and tail and felt pinching? King Vegeta asked. Paragus, baffled by King Vegeta's question, answered, No, nothing like His Majesty, why do you ask? King Vegeta, feeling somewhat uncomfortable with that question, tried to change the conversation. For nothing. By the way, how is your son? Is he still in the hospital incubator? This is my Majesty, with all the complications that I am having lately I cannot have time to take care of him, so I thought it was better to leave him in the hospital where he could be better looked after, Paragus answered. I understand, you can leave, said King Vegeta, ending the meeting. The question of King Vegeta to Paragus was not a casual question without reason. From months ago, he began to suffer situations similar to those described by Paragus. For months, King Vegeta was suffering vandalism, of which he had no explanation. His armor was painted pink and green, his cloak was pierced. During meetings, from his chair appeared mysterious fart-like sounds. Something threw him to the ground when he walked with pride before his subjects, and at night. He felt as if something was ripping him and cutting the hair from his body. One morning when he woke up he noticed that his beard had been cut in the shape of a penis, and it made him go into a rage, almost destroying the palace in search of a guilty party. Another morning he woke up with the fur of his tail, the pride of the scions, cut in a way that looked like letters saying, Pussy, going into a rage once again. Due to these episodes he could barely sleep at night. He wanted to catch the culprit, but he never showed up. At night when sleeping, being more alert in case that entity could reappear and surrounded by his elite guards, he felt as if something was pulling his hair in a rather painful way, so he launched energy attacks in all directions with the hope to hit the guilty one. However, he was unable to find him, and every day the situation became worse. With impotence and resignation he had to force himself to sleep at night and wake up with a bed covered in hair that was once on his head, while watching horrified in the mirror as his already pronounced receding hairline get bigger and bigger. But not only him, several people inside the palace or loyal to him were suffering similar cases, like Nappa or Prince Vegeta. Nappa often woke up with messages written on his bald head, and at other times he had hair stuck to his head. King Vegeta's hair, which by impulse almost killed him a couple of times. As for Prince Vegeta, the ghost took advantage to hinder him in his training, making him usually lose against the Cybermans. Something that seriously hurt his pride. All these strange, paranormal and unexplained events began to fatten the urban legend of the mysterious ghost of the planet Vegeta. Ha ha ha. You expected a ghost, but... It was me, Broly. Broly during the following 8 months managed to greatly improve his infiltration skills. His N now covered the entire plant Vegeta, his mastery with computers had become exquisite and imperceptible, and he had greatly improved his capacity for mind control, so that virtually no one was able to realize his activities, and those who did, they were flax-like in men in black thanks to the Jugon. From the hospital, he had managed to create a small organization within the planet with his controlled scions, which imperceptibly carried out his orders in a practically autonomous way and without being detected. All this made Broly had a lot of free time, which not only wanted to devote to training. You had to relax a little bit. It's necessary to have a good mental health. Obviously, he filled that time by playing tricks on certain characters of Planet Vegeta. Jokes increasingly heavy, cruel, and gimmicky. However, nobody suspected about him. Nobody ever suspects of a baby. Ha ha ha, the perfect crime. Come on, if I'm not naughty at this age, when I will be? Broly during his first year of life was increasing his combat power, facing the public, at a normal pace for Dr. Onion to send his report to King Vegeta. Due to the evolution of those reports, King Vegeta was losing his interest in Broly. Although he had some curiosity about his third eye, the only 2 children he was interested in were his son and the mysterious Super Saiyan legendary that had not yet appeared. To Broly's delight, Paragus decided to leave him in the infirmary until he was 3 years old, which was normal for a scion, especially if it was a single-parent family. Broly had prepared countermeasures in case Paragus wanted to take him home, but it was not necessary now. Broly didn't want to go home. Right now he had great control over the hospital and several organizations. He was like a fish in the water, and it wasn't in his plans to leave that environment. Now he had everything under control. Perfect, the time has come to move on to phase 2. Broly opened high eyes inside the incubator and using telepathy communicated with the 2 mentally controlled nurses in the room. Execute Order 66. The 2 nurses nodded, yes sir. They pressed buttons on the control panel and the incubator opened. Broly, who had successfully learned the flight technique, levitated towards one of the nurses, who was holding a small-sized custom combat suit in his hands. Imagine something like that. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=CGI3zy_2YKU. Broly still in the air, he used telepathy to put on that suit. It was a black suit, with white boots, white arm protectors and above all a long hooded coat to hide his identity. The nurses pressed another button. Inside the incubator was projected an incredibly detailed hologram of Broly, which looked like the real one, floating quietly and asleep inside the incubator. It was so detailed and impressive that no one could tell the difference unless he was able to feel the ki or nen, since the power level detectors in that room would always mark the amount that Broly wanted. Broly levitating slowly left the room and went with a nurse to the roof of the hospital. Little Broly in the dark of the night, still floating in the air, said his first words since he came to this reality. I can finally stretch my legs and breathe fresh air. I've been locked in that cabinet in that room for over a year and a half. Although you could say that I have been around the planet Vegeta and beyond it, but I have not lived it. Fuck, how nice it is to talk again. These incubators are a good invention. However, what they do is provide nutrients and stimulate the body to increase their combat power. At the same time they help the body to mature, since the scions have a very long infant stage, but with my legendary Super Saiyan body constitution and combat power of 167.000, they have no effect on me anymore. Every second that I spend here is a second that I am wasting, although I will have to return for the official checks. Anyway, time to go to my house. My subjects and I have been building it for more than a year. I want to see it with my 3 eyes. Broly, covered by his coat, which allowed a great camouflage not only in sight, also to any type of sensors, he flew away from the hospital at a great speed. However, he stopped halfway and looked towards the palace. But before, I have to comply with the daily routine. Broly used her telekinesis and, a few seconds in the palace. Damn it. Again. Give the face, monster. King Vegeta shouted angrily. Explosion. Explosion. Where are you hiding? Come out and fight against me. King Vegeta yelled, extremely angry while throwing ki balls. Your Majesty, another attack. Your Majesty W, what happened to you? Said the guards, alerted by the attack, surprised and terrified. Shut up. Don't look at me. Look for the responsible. And bring it here almost alive. I want to kill him with my own hands. Due to the chaos and destruction inside Palace, Prince Vegeta appeared. Father. What is happening? Is that damned ghost again? Father. What happened to your hairstyle? Why is it the same as Nappa's? Ha 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 ha. It's these little pleasures that make life meaningful. With the receding hairline you had, stay bald is not surprising at your age, if you were human. Well, it's time to do some work. I'll have more time to have fun tomorrow, ha ha ha, said Broly as he flew towards an extremely distant part of the planet Vegeta. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.